I would say 90% of the people that contact me for caregiving, for assisted living, care homes, memory care, all those things, they call because it's an emergency. And that's kind of a bummer, right? Like, that's never a good time to try to figure out the best strategy. You're kind of in a pickle and just you need to make a decision as quickly as possible, and you really don't have all the options. So I'm here to talk to you today about what are the things that you should be doing to prepare yourself in case you fall into this category. So many times it's not the person who's injured that's contacting me either, right? It's either a spouse or it's a family member, and they're being, especially a son or a daughter, they're being yanked away from their busy life, maybe working or with their children, and all of a sudden put into this position to have to make difficult decisions really quickly, and maybe they don't have all the information that they need. So if you're not in emergency mode, right, we can make better decisions when we're not in emergency mode. I'm going to give you 5 items today that you should be thinking out proactively. So the first and the best thing, and probably the overriding deal that I always talk about, is having those conversations with your parents. So you got to talk about what ifs. You have to talk about, hey, what if you had an accident? What would you want to do? Would you want a caregiver to come into your house? Would you want to go to a place? Would you want to move in with son or your daughter? What is it that they have in their mind? And you have to understand what their wishes are, and then really see how realistic those wishes are. So number 1 is having that communication. Number 2 is understanding what their current need is. So if we're not in emergency time, is there a medical situation that is pressing? Is their mobility not that great? Is their cognitive abilities not that great? What do you see coming in this next year? Would you want a caregiver coming in part-time? Would you want more full-time coverage? You try to see what makes sense. And then, of course, understanding what the options are. So there's assisted living, there's caregiving in the home, there is board and care, memory care, there's independent living care. So there's all these different choices, and each one of those choices, of course, costs money. So understanding what those options are, what they cost, is all part of this overall assessment. The fourth thing is one that we talk about all the time, right? And that is, what is their financial planning like? What is their financial situation? Caregiving in the home for 24 hours a day is not for everybody and is not for most people because it's just so expensive. You start breaking down what it costs for 24 hours. A lot of people have invested in these long-term care insurance programs, and those are fantastic. They can be really helpful when it comes to paying for care. So understanding the finances, understanding the assets that your loved one has, and sometimes understanding that this has to cover 2 people, right? Understanding the amount of income and the amount of expenses that are coming in and out, and also what type of assets that you have. Those are the real keys to the financial piece. Then, of course, legal consideration. This happens probably more often than it should, but you want to make sure that there has been a power of attorney set up both on the health and the financial side. Sometimes that's the same person, sometimes it's different people. So we want to make sure that if that person can no longer make decisions for themselves, that there's somebody that they trust, that they understand what this person would want and make decisions for them. This happens all the time. This often is a real big problem in families. So things like wills and power of attorneys and healthcare proxies, all those things are really important decisions that should be made before somebody gets sick. And even if you're in your 40s or your 50s, you should have those things really figured out. And those are the big 5 things that I see all the time that really will make a difference when it comes time to have that emergency. Then you're a little more prepared than most to come in there. So really understanding that communication piece is going to take you a long way, and making sure that that matches up with reality, the financial reality that we're all in. Okay, give me a call if you have any questions, and we will give you some help and set up some of those options for you as well. All right, see you later.